Now you have like, yeah, now you've reached the point where you can actually, write your own code, understand it in writing. I'm hoping that. And you guys wanted to, move forward. So rest all just now depends on how much you practice yourself and how much you can do. All right. So what are OOP concepts? What is this OOPS? It's object oriented programming concepts, and Java is an object oriented language, and it has four main concepts. And these four main concepts, those are abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. Alright, these are four main concepts which like define an object oriented programming, and these are important to know about. Like, there's a lot of, okay, let's say there are a lot of people who would know about Java and they can write a bit of code in Java, but what makes a good Java developer, a good Java programmer, is the one who understands all these OOPS concepts and is able to implement these in their code, because these concepts make your code more efficient and better. So if you are using these concepts in a program, you are making your code better and more secure, and it will run at a better speed too, and will give you like more optimum output. So knowing these concepts is important, and more important than just drawing them is knowing how to implement them and how to use it in your own programs. And it only comes with practice. You cannot just theoretically read these concepts and you now know the concept, but how are you supposed to apply it? You need to practice it, you need to read more code, you need to read more about Java, how you can apply this. There will be different ways of applying these concepts in your program, but figuring out which would be the best one, which one you should go for, all depends on how much you yourself can practice and how much you are ready to give time to it. So so here's a little, like, today what I'm gonna do, we're gonna go over them once, and from tomorrow we're gonna take one topic. Like, today we're gonna just go over like an overview of all of these concepts, and after that I'm going to show you one program which is about swapping numbers. I wanted you to think about it and like, let's see if you guys can do it, and then we're gonna start building a tic-tac-toe game. Tic-tac-toe, I hope you all know about that, cut from zero, which we all play. So you're gonna make that game in Java, like by the code that we read. It's very simple. It's nothing like too crazy. It just uses all that you have learned till now. Doesn't even use like a lot like more. It kind of uses just what you know. And actually, I could have at this point given you to make that project yourself, like by what an older, what do you call it, a schedule like of like who was taking like the previous Java batch. I was provided by one of those. So that person actually gave a lot of these projects, but they gave it to like, just they would like give the project like a weekly project, and then you would be working it on it for a week. There would be like half an hour kind of classes where like you would, or like 1 hour classes, you would be like discussing stuff, but they were, those were given for making yourself. But I felt like when I gave you those simpler projects, you guys were mostly not able to do it. So then just giving you a bigger project like this, you all would, I know it 100%. You all just be going on the internet, finding a code, copying and pasting it, and just making a little bit of changes here and there, and you would give it to me, or you would do that. So that doesn't make sense, and it's of no use either to you or to me. All right, so I'm going to, every day we're going to do a little bit of theory and we're going to work a little bit on that project. It doesn't matter, like, I am not going towards giving you a lot of projects to do, which you are just copying from here and there. If you do a lot of projects, but those are just all copied and you gain zero knowledge from copying them and copying pasting them from the internet. So it's not helpful. It's better to do less projects, but at least you know what you're doing. So next time if you have to make something similar, you will like recall it. You will remember, okay, oh, in that project I did it that way, so now I can do it this way. So that's how I am going to move forward with it. If you guys have some problem with it, if you want me to just give you projects, like I can just give you a project every day. There's like too many questions to be solved. All right, I can find like millions of questions for you. I can give you a project every week. I can give you a project to make every alternate day, but then it would be you know s- giving it to you and then you guys coming back with your code which is not really working, and solving that also takes a lot of time. Plus, I know that most of you do not write that code yourself. You guys are copying it from here and then it throws up errors, and then I realize that after reading the code, all right? It's very obvious. So that's what I don't want to do. So, but anyway, if majority of you would not like me making the project with you and want me to just give it to you and you guys doing it separately, so you can just let me know later, like after the class you can text me or whatever, and if you guys will want it to be done in a bit different way, I'll go with that. So yeah, now coming back to the OOP concept. So the first one is abstraction. Now abstraction is like simply like the how what the English word means. Like it means to what it says over here is means using simple things to represent complexity. Now if the example they have given, or like a really simple example, is like when you watch TV, all right, you take your remote and you turn on your TV and you just sit down to watch it. You do not need to care about how the signal from the remote is going to your TV, how it is understanding what you want it to do. Like there's so many different buttons on that remote. How does the TV know which button you're pressing? How does it start, and from where is it getting all these channels and how it is working? You don't care about that. You just care about turning on the TV and watching it. Even there are a lot of other things like this which you do in your daily life, and that's the concept Java uses, where you have classes and objects and variables and you use them in your code, but you do not care about what is behind that. You just use them as you want. And a simple example would be like how we have used abstraction is, you declare variables. You write int a is equals to 10. Now you use that a in place of 10 everywhere in your code, but you do not care about how that value of 10 got stored into a. Where is that a stored? Where is the 10 stored? How does the computer know? You don't care about that. Just write int a equals to 10, and then wherever you want to use the value, you just keep on using that variable. You do not care about how it's working, how the memory is being allocated, what will happen if there's less memory and we are trying to store more stuff, all that stuff. Java takes care of that. You do not need to care about it. Another one would be when you use all those string methods, and you got use that caret and you use that to uppercase compares to equals and all that. You're just using it to get the result you want. You do not care about how is it comparing, what is it doing. Even though knowing that is not bad, like it doesn't harm you to know how that code is working, but even if you do not know, it doesn't matter. You can still use it. You can use it, you can get the output you want without knowing how it is working. And that's what abstraction is. Did you guys understand what I mean by that?
Yes.
Yes, can anybody give like another example of abstraction, maybe from Java or a real life example? It can be a real life example. It can be like even from, you've done enough coding now, even from like where you have used abstraction in your code.
Ma'am, indexes in books.
Indexes in books, all right. What else? What else? I don't think abstraction is that difficult of a, concept. I think it's fairly simple, and you guys said that you understood it. So I'm just expecting an example. I'm even telling you, you can give like a real life example, like how we talked about this TV thing.
Ma'am,
Yes.
we using cell phone and we only have to take off services. We did not any knows any implementation of that, how camera made and how it works and how
Yes.
to get it. But we only use the set of services.
Yeah. Very nice.
Hello,
Yes.
ma'am. Even it's the best example for ATM machine. Uh, Still, we don't know about the how the process goes on, but do the uh,
Hmm.
withdrawals and cashes. Like
Yeah, perfect, perfect. Yeah, ATM machine is a good example. You just go there, put your card, put your number, get your money, go. You don't know how it is, getting added to your bank account or getting removed from your bank account, or how, where the money is coming from, what is happening. You don't care. Just go there, tuck, 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 tuck. You put your stuff, take your money, go away. So these are some good examples. So, okay. So now I think you guys understood. Now let's move on to encapsulation. Now, this is the practice of keeping fields within a class private, then providing access to them via public methods. Now, this is like kind of technical thing. You can think of it like, you are binding, you bind the code, and everything that's related to that code in one place. You encapsulate them. Like, you made a class, let's say, and there's these methods and there are these variables. So what you do is you have those all those variables inside that method, so it is encapsulated inside that method. You cannot use that variable outside that method, right? If you write int a inside a method, you you cannot use the value of that a in another method unless you make an object and other stuff, right? You need to make an object for classes if you want to call stuff inside that class, right? You've done that now. If you make two different classes, so to get the code inside one of the class, you need to first make an object and then you can call. So why? Because the code inside that class is encapsulated inside that class. So, or like, all the code which is inside that class is only present inside that class. It cannot be called from another class without making objects, or without making it accessible in some other way. You can do it if you do not, if you make use something like public, or there's like different keywords and stuff. If you use those, or if you do not do proper encapsulation, you can access variables and methods in different classes or different functions. But that is not a good practice. Why? Because let's think about it. You had a class, let's say cycle, or let's say you had a class rectangle, and then inside that class you had a method parameter. Inside that you had int side and int length and breadth, all right? And then you calculate the perimeter, printed. And then you had a separate class which was called class square, and that also you had, you were doing perimeter, and you said int length inside that too, and you calculated perimeter, printed it. Now the length and perimeter variable are common to both of those classes. Now let's say we did not perform encapsulation, so Java program will get confused about which length are you talking about. Are you talking about length in the class square? Are you talking about length in the class rectangle? Are you, which perimeter is to be printed? That, it gets confusing if there's no encapsulation. But because there is encapsulation, so the length and perimeter inside the square class is only inside that square class. It is different from the length and perimeter which is inside the rectangle class. So they are not the same, they are not interconnected in any way. Are you understanding? Did you guys get what I was saying? Yes, no, maybe you don't know. Okay, Nagasi ma'am got it. Why do you guys don't respond? You guys like take so much. Like, I'm being honest. You guys take so much. Okay, I will. See, nice. You told me I will go over it again. But you guys take so much time to respond that we are wasting so much time only in this, like, oh, did you get it? And then I will just wait for like 5 minutes to wait for everyone to reply. So I know you got it or not. And then that's also one of the reason why we are going slow. I need to wait for you all to tell me. Yeah, so what I mean is I'll go over that example again, try and imagine it, okay? There's a class which is called rectangle, and that rectangle class has a method which is called public, like void, what do you say, void perimeter, all right? And that in that method you're calculating perimeter of the rectangle, so you wrote int length, int breadth, you calculated perimeter and you printed the perimeter. Now you made another class which was called class square. Inside you had another method to calculate perimeter. Inside that you wrote int length, calculated the perimeter and printed the perimeter. Now let's say there was no encapsulation. Java would get confused. Which length or which perimeter are you talking about? Are you talking about the length perimeter inside the square class? Are you talking about length perimeter inside the rectangle class? Because you know there's nothing is like, everything is the same. So there's like now two lengths and two perimeters. But when you apply encapsulation, because Java uses encapsulation, so for Java, things inside one of the class or one of the method are present only inside that class and method. So both the lengths are treated differently. The length variable inside the class rectangle and length variable inside the class square are treated separately, so because they are bound to that class, they are only present inside that class, inside that method. And that's why you can do it. Here's where your access specifies. You did those, we did those, public, and what was the other one? There was private, there was default. Remember we went over those? This is where you can use them to do that. So is it clear now? Are you understanding what I'm trying to say?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. Now let's move on to inheritance. So we're going to be 5:30. I want to do everything today. Now for inheritance, it is a special feature you've done. Okay, inheritance. When we did that thread, we wrote extends thread, right? We wrote that class, whatever the name was, I don't know, let's just say class apple extends thread. So that extends thread, what did that do? It brought all the methods and everything which was inside that thread class could now could now be used inside that apple class, where we wrote like class apple extends thread. So now everything inside that thread can be used in this class, and that what inheritance is. So inheritance is almost, you can say, like you inherit stuff from your parents. Is exactly that. Like a mother, like you have grandparents, and then you have your parents, and then you have you. So but there is something common in you and your parents, somehow, like you kind of, you maybe look a bit similar, you have similar features, or you have similar behavior traits. At least you have the same DNA and all that. That's a different thing. So but you have similarity, and then your parents have some similarity with your grandparents. But like matlab, it's not that prominent in everyone, but a lot of times the grandchild and the grandparents also have some things in similar. You might have similar hair color, you might have similar eyes, you might have similar speaking style or something. So what is it? You're inheriting stuff. So the grandparents was the parent class, and then your parents were a child class, and then you are the child of your parents. That's exactly what inheritance is. You have a parent class, and then you have a child class which extends that parent class, and the child class will have some features, will have the features of the parent class. So it's exactly how this works, exactly how you have your parents and their children. Similarly, the parent class and child class, and the child classes will have features of the parent class. The parent class will not have any features of the child. All right, you are similar to your parents. Your parents are not similar to you. right? You don't say that the parent is similar to you. You say that you are similar to your parents, right? So that's exactly how inheritance works. It's literally like how the English meaning of the word. And then there is polymorphism. So polymorphism is, the word sounds pretty scary, but it is again a very simple thing where you can have different methods and different variables and different methods with the same name. How we right now, I told you that example. There was this class rectangle which has int length, int perimeter, and there was this class square. It also had int length, int perimeter. So what is that? That is polymorphism. You're using the same name in different places for different things, using the same name in different places for different things. You can even do use that with functions, and your functions which are methods, right? You can have a method add and another method add, but it should have different attributes. So I will show you that right now when we are coding. So polymorphism basically just means having using the same name in different places for different things. All right, do you guys understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Now let's move on. Now this is what I'm gonna do for theory today. Then tomorrow we're gonna take abstraction, then encapsulation, and it is polymorphism, one day at a time, and gonna implement it in our code. All right. So, but today what I wanted you to do not look at this program. All right. Did you all join from your laptops as I told you to? I want all of you. I'm going to give you 3 minutes. All right, it will not take longer than that. Getting 3 minutes and start writing a program to swap numbers. Let's say you have an int a which is 10 and you have int b which is 20, and at the end you have to swap those numbers, and that means now when you print, a should have the number 20 and b should have the number 10. But you don't have to give it yourself. Like, don't write a equals to 20, b equals to 10. You need to exchange the values of them. Hint is like, when you were sorting, you would exchange the values. While sorting, you will exchange, the larger number with the first position number. You were exchanging them in a similar way. So if you actually did sorting, you would know how swapping works. You were swapping numbers over there. So, which I did give you an task and you all did it. So start doing it. The time has already started. I'm going to wait for 3 minutes and I want to see everybody's answer. You need to take two numbers, write an int a equals to 10, int b equals to 20, and swap them and then print them. And do it quickly. And as soon as somebody is done with it, share your screen like right away. All right, I'm going to stop sharing mine, and then I just want you to, as soon as you are done, just swap your screen. Or not swap your screen, like present your screen. That's what I mean. I hope you all are doing though. Yeah, if you've done it, you just share your screen. If you have
Ma'am, can I
completed,
share?
yeah, yeah, if you've completed it, share your screen.
Ma'am, is it visible, ma'am?
Nope, it is not visible to me. Is it visible? Do it again, I guess. Yeah, now it is visible. Yeah, your screen is visible, but your code is not visible. Probably you're not sharing, your complete screen, or you've not opened your code.
Ma'am, is it okay, ma'am?
No, no, your code is not visible. Your Google Meet screen. What did you do when you went on, share screen? It must have given you options. Go back to your Google Meet and see. Go on like presenting. And then it would give you like options. When you share your screen, it might give you option to share your complete screen, and then like do that. Actually, let me try once. Yeah, all right. Okay, whose screen is this? This is Sakshi, ma'am. All right. Okay, perfect. So, have everybody done it? Can you just show your code and just remove this your terminal? Just show. Okay. All right, Shweta, ma'am. Were you going to show your code? Can you open
Yes,
your
ma'am.
code? All right. Okay, good. Very good. You've done it like you presented it in a good way. Don't stop sharing. Go back. Open your screen back, Shweta, ma'am. Shweta, ma'am, show your screen once more, please. Yeah. Okay. Close your terminal. Yeah. Take it to the bottom, just close it. Yes. So if you can see, like she's done a good job. She has completely the presentation is really good. I hope you've written it right now. So if you've written it yourself, that's like good. You did enter values, you made them enter value, then you said you even showed before swapping and after swapping. You've like nicely you know You printed X and then you printed the value of X and like all that. So that's good. Now I want, everybody. I'm not only telling her to do it, but you can just, tell her to make changes in the code and she will do it. And even you, like, I want everybody to think about it. Is there a way you can swap the numbers? You can exchange all these numbers without using that extra temporary variable, Right now you're using that extra t, your temporary variable, and then you store the value of x in that variable, and then you put y in x, and you put that, the value of t into y. Is there a way to do this without actually using the third variable? And there is a way to do it. That's why I'm asking you to do it. So think about it, and like, think about it how you can do it. It's just simple maths. It's related to maths, okay? Are you guys thinking about it? It's nothing that complex. Just like, think about how you can do it, and just, even guessing it would will work. I at least want some responses on like what do you think can be done. All right, Shridan, just stop sharing your screen. I'm not gonna waste any more time. I'll just move forward because I don't know if you guys are thinking of it guys or not. So I'll just tell you how to do it, and then you guys can do it that way whenever you need to. See, if you guys cannot put your head together and think of like a simple thing like this, I am a bit scared about how the project is gonna go, because there's some logic in making a tic-tac-toe game. So okay, whatever, let's leave that. And here is how you will do it. Now, if you look at it, I'm not gonna say anything. Just this is the way you do it. Can somebody at least explain like what is happening? This is not something very confusing. Just let's say the value of a is 10 and b is 20, and just can somebody, explain what is happening over here? All right, I'll do it myself. So let's say the value of a was 10 and b was 20. So what we did, we said a equals to a plus b. So what did A become now? 10 plus 20. So what is A over here? The value of A became 30, right? What is it? Value of A is 30. Then we came over here, we said B is equals to A minus B. But what is the value of A now? A is 30 and B was 20. So it became 10. A's initial value was 10, right? What was this? This was 10 comma 20. A was 10, B was 20. We had to make B 10 and A 20. So we made B 10. What did we do? We said A equals to A plus B. So A plus B was 10 plus 20. A became 30. So we added both of these and we removed B from this. So what were we left with? We left with A, right? We did 30 minus 20. We got A. Now what did we do? We did A equals to A minus B again. Now what is in A? A is 30. And what is in B? B is 10 now. B is 10. So what did it become? 20. It got exchanged. Did you guys understand this? At least let me know if you
Yes,
understood
ma'am.
it or not. Alright. Good. An early response. Great. So two people understood it. Alright. I don't even know about others. Okay, so we'll just move forward, and because so I'm gonna make a new Java file. I'm gonna call it Tic-Tac-Toe Demo. And I'm gonna do. Alright, so I did nothing. I made this is a class and the main method. Now in this, when you're actually making a project, what we are going to try and do is, whenever, like, this is, depends on like how you want your code to be kept. But what I personally go for and I feel like is the best way is keep minimum amount of code in your main. Make separate methods to do everything. Do not put a lot of code in your main. Main is a thread. If you put too much code in the main thread, it will take a lot of time to work. So try not putting a lot of code in main. Make separate methods to do everything. So when you think about the tic-tac-toe game, what is the first thing you need to do? First thing you need to do is to get the board, right? I'm going to show you first. All right, I'm going to show. I'll just run this and see over here. You need to have this board, right? You guys can see the board, and then it will be like you will ask the user to have a number from 1 to 9. This is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and whenever they enter a number, let's say they said 2, so an O or an X, whatever you want, will be placed in that place. Now this project is also not complete. I'm going to do the rest of it, but it's gonna start slow. By the time there would be a computer will get a turn and the user will get a turn. So whenever they enter a number, you should place the X or an O over there. So the first thing what we're going to do today is we're going to work on making this. We need to make the board, the game board. So the first thing, what we should do is, now if you look at this, there's one space. This is an empty space. Then there's a line. There's an empty space, a line, and an empty space. So how many characters are these? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are 5 things. And if we see it this way, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So it's 5 and 5. So isn't this similar to a 2D array? By 2D array, I means, you did arrays and there was this array with one bracket and there were arrays with 2 brackets. Remember it? They are single dimension array and they're double dimension array. This is exactly what a double dimension array is. It has 5 rows and 5 columns, right? So we need to have 5 rows and 5 columns, right? And then what are the, in the first row, what do you have? You have a space, line, space, line, space. Second row, you have dash plus dash plus dash. Then you have space, line, space, line, space, dash plus dash plus dash, right? So what we're going to do is we're gonna come over here. Wait, why am I not able to close it? Okay. So we're going to make a character array. These are characters, right? We're gonna make char and we're gonna call it game board and we're gonna write equals to sorry, this is array, so char double dimension array. And how do you store things in a double dimension array? First you have these outside brackets, and then you, whatever is inside these second curly braces is going to be of one row. So what was inside your first row? There was space, there was a line, there was space, and there was another line, and there was another space. Then you put a comma and now you give the second row. What was inside the second row? There was a dash, and then there was plus, there was a dash again, there was plus, and there was another, there was another dash, right? And then there was the other rows and columns which you're going to figure it out yourself later. So you have this character array. You're done with the array. Now you're going to make a separate method and we're gonna call it print board, and we're going to send this game board to it. We're gonna send game board to it, and this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna make this method. So we made a static void print board. All right, we got this, and what we're going to do is we're going to print this array, and it has rows and it has columns. So we've done it before. You do a for int I equals to 0, I is less than 5 because there are five elements in a row, and then this will be 5 plus plus. The outside loop is for your rows. Now this is going to be for your columns. And j equals to 0, j is less than 5, and we're gonna have j plus plus. We've done this before. We printed arrays like this before, right? And then we're gonna have system dot out dot print, and we're gonna say game board of I and of j, and then we're gonna have a system dot out dot println, and this is for just changing the line. So this is it, and this should print your board. So I'm gonna run it once. Let's see. So you got these two because I only did two. What I want you all to do is, see, it gave an error because you had only two. You're gonna make all the five. So this is your task for today. Don't ask me again, please. Everybody remember. Your task is you have to print the complete board. All right. I'm going to just give some comments over here. This is for printing. I hope you know what rows and columns are, right? Rows are the horizontal ones and columns are the vertical ones. And this is gonna be for columns, and this is printing element, like your one space or your dash or whatever is over there, and this is, you're gonna change the line. This is printing element, or you can just say like you're printing the actually printing one complete row, right? Because what this does is It prints your complete row, right? If I do it again, what this does is the where you're writing system.print, it's printing the complete row, and after with the system.print ln, it changes the line and then it prints the complete row, right? So this code is printing your complete row, and this is for changing the line, and then this prints the complete, your board. So I want by tomorrow, I want you all to print the complete board. It's, you all have seen a tic-tac-toe board, so I want you to print the complete board. All right. All
Yes, ma'am.
right. Okay. Perfect. So this is it for today's class. If you guys have any questions, you can ask me or you can start leaving the class. But I want this to be done by tomorrow. Everybody just write this down or just, I don't know, whatever you want to do. Just do not forget it. I want this to be done. Once this is done, then I'm going to move forward. Otherwise, you guys can just, if you guys are just gonna, waste time, then that's like on you. I'm going to move. I want this to be done, only then I can teach you forward. Otherwise, it makes no sense to teach forward. So now this is your task to complete it. Okay? So if you have any questions, ask me or you can start leaving the class.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, why we took private static void instead of public static void in second?
You can just take public static void. I created it by default, so it just made it private. Now making it private is just like similar to your encapsulation, what we did today. That means this is will be available only inside the class tic-tac-toe and not outside the class. So if you write public static, it's also fine. If you just write void print, if you just write static void print, that is also fine. So the private or public does not matter in the context of if the program will work or not. It will work, but the private makes this function. You remember we did private and public and default. If you've forgotten, you can go to like Java Point or Geeks for Geeks, read about them again. And these are just like specify where this method print board will be available. If it's private, it will be available only in class tic-tac-toe and nowhere else. So I cannot use print board anywhere else instead of class tic-tac-toe demo which I've made. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
If you've forgotten, it's a good thing. Go back, like search about these private, public, and read them again. Yes. Was somebody else saying something?
Ma'am, can you show the code?
This is the code. This is the complete thing.
A board, structure of board. So how can we build that?
The board. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes. Let's run this. This is it.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, perfect.